guys, I'm here today with Alex McKinnon. He is one of my best friends. We've been friends for countless years. So he has seen the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So this is a really special podcast to my heart because he's been a serial entrepreneur, and as have I. We are passionate. We come up with ideas and try different things. And he's really, really good with organizing systems and figuring out how to get yourself and rewire your own brain into being your best self and achieving the things that you want in life. So we're going to dive into a little bit of his tips and tricks today on just general entrepreneurship and the different hacks that he uses to keep his baseline and keep leveling up in his career and in his life. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for the generous introduction.
Yes, I could say so much more, but we'll save that for another time.
I appreciate it. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Good. So yeah, I know you're way better than I am at organizing like systems and processes for and kind of hacking your own brain into doing the things you want it to do.
Okay.
So
Yes.
you may have a goal in mind. What are some things that you do to help yourself actually achieve the goal?
Okay, I'm a big fan of frameworks. So whenever I think of a problem or a goal that I want to solve, I think of what framework can help me achieve it. So whenever I have a goal or outcome, I usually work backwards from the outcome. So this is the result that I want. And then I say, okay, well, this is the result that I want. This is where I'm at. And then that kind of creates the framework. So this is the finish line. This is where I'm at. I don't worry about anything past the goal, and I don't worry about anything before where I started at. And so that's just like kind of some hard boundaries to start working inside of. Next thing that I do is I look at my resources and I ask myself, are the current resources that I have enough to achieve this goal or get this outcome desired? If the answer is yes, great, I proceed into organization. If the answer is no, I have to look at where I'm going and then assess what resources I will need to get there. And then once that is in place, so now that I have where I'm going, my resources, I then at that moment in time begin to reconfigure and configure the resources that I have to get the result. And I'm trying to keep it very vague so that way you can extrapolate and kind of put your own framework on top of it. Getting jumbled up. Once I have a framework that looks like it's going to work, I then test and then take notes to see what worked, what didn't work. And then I continue that until it looks like it's highly likely that I'm going to achieve my goal or that this can work. And then that's the testing phase. I haven't really put it into play yet. And then once I say that this can work, okay, I then kind of build a time map, because if I don't have a deadline, if I don't say on this day I'm going to have this done, I will procrastinate and I will create new solutions and I will do everything that I need to do to not do the thing that I'm meant to do. And that's kind of the things that I deal with. But it's really just creating an environment for you to solve a problem and then putting in the time and work to solve that problem. And it could be human systems, it could be IT systems, it could be, emotional systems for support of many different people. A system is a system, and the quality and the efficacy of your system will determine how easily you reach success.
Interesting. I know I definitely need to implement more systems in my life across all the different channels because there's so many things happening all at once between 3 kids and family and work that I've definitely seen where not having a system, you're just kind of running around like a chicken with your head cut off. So I definitely see the validity in what you're saying, and I hope that I can apply that in my own life in that way.
Oh, for sure. Just see where you're struggling the most and say, okay, I would like to have this desired outcome. Okay. And then now that you say this is my outcome, you have to be honest with where you're at and what resources. And by resources, I mean time, money, friends or mentorships, and then the actual physical thing that you may or may not need. And this does not work if you're not honest with yourself. You know, all the time we would want to say that we're more grandiose than we are. And I like to go from my bottom, like this is where I am at my worst, you know, and just work from there. So that way I know that like, this is at my worst, I can clear this easy instead of like saying, okay, this is my best day and this is my baseline. I may not be able to hit my best day every single day, but I can definitely hit my worst day every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it takes some of that pressure away too.
So much.
And allows you to give yourself more of grace, which has been a running theme lately that we've been talking a lot about, having that compassion for yourself. And it's so, so important. How do you manage like willpower and motivation to get up and take action on these tasks? So once we get this infrastructure in place, how do we then take action on the days and the times where we don't feel like it?
Ooh, okay. So this gets, I would say even before that, like a lot of what allows me to have the discipline and the motivation is purpose. And if I don't know why I'm doing this in the first place, I will lack motivation. I will lack willpower to do the things because it's an uphill battle. But when I know that this is on my purpose, it becomes effortless and easy. And realistically, I don't rely on motivation and willpower. They are needed to get me started, but then it becomes discipline. And again, this goes back to the system. This is the system of habits that will get me there. Because I'll be honest with you, if I ask myself how I feel every single day before I start something, I don't want to do it. I probably won't do it. But I just say, hey, you know, this is whenever I feel that build up of just like, I don't want to do this or, you know, forget this, I remind myself of my purpose and why I'm here. And so that purpose is kind of like a guide rail to funnel me back into the activities that I've chosen for myself or the goals that I've chosen for myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I really like that. You always have the most unique perspective. And that's just an Alex thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And so I love the way that you said that it's no longer about the motivation and the willpower past getting started. It becomes about the discipline. Do you have any tips on how to be more disciplined or how to practice that in our daily lives?
Yeah.
In a way that's not like, at least for me, I kind of get like that kind of thing when you say discipline. I feel like it's going to hurt and I'm not going to like it.
Right.
And maybe that's just my association, but how can we turn that into something like fun and positive and compassionate?
Yeah. I am a fan of gentle discipline. And so what I mean by gentle discipline is if I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm not going to beat myself up into doing it. I'm not going to say anything unkind. I kind of learned this from meditation. And in meditation, you focus on your breath. And when your mind begins to wander, you gently bring it back to your breath. And so this is important for discipline in that you know the areas that you struggle with. And if you struggle with this area and you find yourself off task, the moment that you find yourself off task, don't beat yourself up. Actually enjoy the moment. Thank yourself. And then say, hey, you know, I realize that I'm off task. Let me bring myself back. And this is why it's good to have a understanding or written down a process of what it is you're doing. So that way, if you kind of lose yourself in your process, you can say, oh, you know, I was daydreaming. Where do I go? Go to your checklist. Oh, I need to be doing this. And then it brings you back. And it's more of a gentle way rather than like a heavy hand. And I find that, you know, because I've been doing this for a long time, is that when I meet myself with a heavy hand, I become demotivated and disinterested in the things that I'm doing that are getting me towards my goal. And that's why I say purpose is important. It's just like that gentle reminder of like, hey, why am I doing this? Hey, why am I putting forth all of this discipline? Like, this isn't fun. This isn't great. Like, I'm not having a good time. Why am I here? Purpose.
Right. So what was the process for you of finding your sense of purpose? I know that there's a lot of different perspectives out there, find your calling, find your purpose, or
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes that I heard that just clicked for me was it was a guy on Lewis Howes, one of his interviews. He said that what if you don't need to find your purpose? What if you are your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I had to sit back for a second. And I just wonder what that journey has been like for you in discovering your purpose.
Yeah. So it's been a long journey. My purpose came from probably the difficult life that I had in the first part of it. And overcoming those difficulties, I began to see my strengths of resilience, my ability to creatively solve solutions. I didn't know my purpose in the beginning. And, it's still kind of hazy now, but I know that in my value system, I help other people. I love people. I love, watching people overcome. I love watching people grow, but conversely, I love watching myself overcome. Mm-hmm. I love watching myself grow. And so my purpose came in to where did I feel the most aligned in life? Where was it easy for me to exist in a space at which it necessarily wasn't like all this uphill battle of, I'm dreading on clocking in here and doing my task. And it's like I kind of got to drag myself throughout the day. I looked for a place at which when I was there, it didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like effort was taking place. Like I felt in alignment with who I am and where I'm going. And I kind of pieced it together from that feeling. It is a lot of reflection and a lot of self-awareness and self-assessment. But I know that I feel best when I am helping people figure out situations, when I'm helping people learn, and when I'm, showing and teaching people. It's been a long journey. I've done a lot of things. And if you do not know your purpose, here is a 100% way to find your purpose. Go do a bunch of stuff. Right? Like you can't know what you don't know. Go try things. Go talk to people. Go talk to mentors. Go talk to people doing the jobs that you want to do. And the second piece is, what are you curious about? Whenever I'm in the middle of burnout and I'm like, I can't force myself to do anything because as an entrepreneur, burnout's a real thing. You're going to work and work and work and work until you're just like, oh no, I'm working endlessly on the hamster wheel. And, I'm not getting the results that I want. Is that curiosity is what always brings me back to my purpose. It helps me to know that I'm in the right place. And so whenever I meet someone, whenever I am going through life, I ask myself, what am I curious about in this moment? And that it gives a lot of information back to help me delineate and define that purpose.
Man. He always does this. He leaves me speechless. I never know how to respond.
It's okay. So let me ask you this question. What are you curious about? Like in this phase of life?
Time management is a big topic for me right now.
Okay.
Because I'm getting to that point where I have so many tasks in so many different categories, located in so many different apps, emails, texts, computer, iPad, all these different locations. And just keeping up with where all the tasks are, and then prioritizing them. I feel pretty solid about my execution once I can see.
Yeah.
It's really just been the organization of my time and my tasks.
Okay.
That have been that's my pain point. Maybe not my curiosity.
Oh, okay.
But it's a pain point that I'm I'm excited to get to the next level with, because I think it's going to allow everything else to go run so much smoother and be able to help more people more efficiently.
100%. And so I hear, and what you're saying is that you have a lot of energy put into finding a solution, or your solutions are all over the place. So a lot of your energy is expended in trying to manage where things are. So that way it robs you of your precious time that you could be using to focus on your business.
Right.
So the biggest,
or kids or
family, or yes, or anything. Okay. So immediately what comes to mind is a reprioritization of all your tasks. Figure out what the most important ones are. Which ones are vital to running your business, which ones that if you were to do would free up the most time, and then also look at which tasks you are eating the most time and what can you delegate to someone else.
Right.
You have human resource, people, and utilize those, because when you have people around you that can take out your pain points, it will free up much more of your mental space to focus in on the things that are important to you. And so that's why the prioritization has to come in, is because your family's a priority, making money in your business, scheduling clients, like keeping the workflow going. Look through each one, each thing, and prioritize. And you may have to do this multiple times. This isn't a one and done.
Right.
This is a constant reappraisal of your priorities as you move forward through life.
Right. And I think that's been one of the big transitions throughout my 20s, has been understanding that these things that I learn are not a one and done. It always circles back with a deeper meaning, a deeper layer that was undiscovered and I was unaware of previously. And it used to bother me because I was like, I feel like I already did that. Like I've already beat this. Why is it coming back? But then on the other side, once I level up again, comes all the relief, and all of these doors open up.
Absolutely.
And so I'm working on shifting my attitude to that space of gratitude when I come up against something that I've previously addressed or improved upon.
Okay. So can we switch gears just a little bit to life and philosophy?
Yeah.
Outside of business. And so let's talk about the cyclical nature of life. And so I came to this realization in the middle of reflection a while ago. And it was, again, these same themes keep coming up in life over and over and over again. And I was like, I thought I defeated this. Why does it keep coming back? And I was just like, why is it here? It would go away I would, have the discovery, change the behavior, and then it would go away for a while. And then a year or two later, I'm like, hey, it's me again.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, and it's like, this time I brought a new trick. And it's like your old methods for solving the issue won't work.
Right.
And so it's like you have to invent a new solution. And so it always bothered me. I was like, man, why is this? And then I started to think. And then I realized something. Everything that you know is in a cycle, right? Like let's take it to our breath. We breathe in, we breathe out. Let's take it to day and night. We have a day and night cycle. Let's take it to a year. We have a yearly cycle. We have seasons. Everything is in rotation, in motion, right? So you have a problem right here, and you're coming up on the problem. There's the anxiety. Oh, you cross the problem, just like it would be a number on a clock. So let's just say 6 o'clock, right? And so you're ticking towards 6 o'clock, and you see it coming, and it has this large gravity that's pulling you, and then you pass 6 o'clock, and then if you don't let go of the thing, it will constantly drag your attention back to 6 o'clock, even though you're on 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, right? And so if you learn to let go, surrender the thing, surrender to it. If life is pulling things out of your hand, let it pull, because you're at a different part of the cycle, and it'll come back around. You're coming back around to it because there's a cyclical nature to your being, a cyclical nature to your growth. Of course, you defeated the thing on this level, and that's great. Just know it's coming back, and not to have anxiety because it's a teacher. It's not that it's a problem that you're like, oh, I wish this is keeping me from living my life. It's like, no. This is a life lesson that you're going to learn every single time around the sun.
Interesting. Are there a series of experiences like that you've identified are come back? I mean, I guess things like self-control, that's in a cycle.
For me, it's self-worth. Okay. I struggle with self-worth. And it's like usually the wounds that you were inflicted in childhood will be the things that will be the lessons that will keep coming back up and up and up again. And it's like I constantly have to battle against self-worth, against the voice in my head telling me that, like, you're not good enough or this isn't good enough. And it's like I have to, in that moment, realize that I am the observer and those are just thoughts, and say, I hear those thoughts. However, this is how I choose to construct my reality.
Right.
I choose that I am worthwhile. And here I have all of this confirming evidence. I have friends. I have my work. I have my journal. I have my dog even.
Yeah.
My dog is a great reminder of just like, yeah, you're worth it. You're awesome. But I also have myself, and I'm beginning to realize, like, where is that coming from? And as I have dug deep to find where that's coming from, I began to realize, like, what the problem is at hand, right? And that is my adult self to my child self, the relationship there. And it doesn't feel the worth that my adult self feels.
Right.
So therefore, it always constantly brings back up that unworthiness, just like the seasons, right? It's just like every time around a certain point in the year, it's just like I'm feeling extra low. And so now that I'm aware of kind of where it's coming from, I'm just handling it with grace and patience and love, as if I would handle it for someone else outside of me.
Is that time of year the time of year of the trauma, like a trauma anniversary, or is it?
It moves, and I would love to say that I'm that aware of it. I just kind of know it when it pops up. I'm just like, hey, you feel familiar? I'm like, oh, it's you again. Okay, well, let's solve it,
Yeah.
And so last year, I was going through a particularly difficult time. I got hit in every aspect of life, and it happened back to back to back to back to back to back to back, right? And I was like, I knew in that moment that, I'm not meant to fight this. I'm meant to let go, let everything fall that falls. And then once the, cosmic assault is over, the cosmic lesson is over, pick back up the pieces and reevaluate. So it's like I get through my difficult period in time, and I pat myself on the back for having a system that gets me through rough times. It's like, I make sure that I eat well. I make sure that I exercise, drink water, go to sleep, take my vitamins, and communicate with people, because I want to isolate and shut down.
Right.
But it's my friends, my family, my tribe that keeps me, in alignment and going and laughing and, kind of distracted from it. And then once I made it through the tough time, I realized that this big structure that I had built had fallen over and fallen apart. And I wanted to mourn that. I wanted to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, everyone take pity on me. Instead, I chose to analyze and say, no one take pity on me. This fell apart because I built it wrong. This fell apart because it could fall apart, and just accept that. And when it fell apart, it didn't shatter into a million pieces. It shattered into about 5 main pieces. But underneath the structure that I had built it on, the ground, the foundation had cracked. And it had shown me that I had buried over something. Right? There was a lot there, and that was my child self. My most vulnerable version, my hurt self, was beneath it. And I knew that I could not be the version of me, the best version of me, without integrating my child self, the person of me that was hurt the most. And I can't believe that I had did that. in a way to fit in and to be better, or to be liked, to be accepted. You kind of pave over those pieces of you that you're ashamed of and that you don't want the world to see. And I had a history of doing that. And, rather than look at this tough time in my life where everything was going quote unquote wrong, I just let it happen. And it showed me the piece that I needed the most, which was me.
I feel like that so often that is the answer.
Yeah.
Whether it's the answer is me or the answer is to go inward.
Yeah.
And it's all revolving. Especially lately, there's been this other theme along with giving yourself grace of the inner child. And that's something that I think sometimes we'll see people overpost about, or when it becomes trendy, sometimes it can lose its power.
Right.
But when you really exercise it is, and we had this conversation earlier, it's like time travel in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, and how you were mentioning of importing the anxieties of the future and not getting caught up in the sadness or stress of the past and living in that present moment. And I really do think that the inner child work is part of that key to the present.
Absolutely.
And I think it's so beautiful the way that you described how to treat your inner child.
Yeah.
And that when you're beating yourself up, you're actually beating up that inner child rather than just the you that you see in the mirror. Because for whatever reason, I guess we value at least for me, when I picture my inner child, and me at 7 years old, I'm much more compassionate with her than I am with current me.
Right.
And why is that, right? I'm still me. In fact, I'm an improved version. I've learned more. I've accomplished more. But
yes, you have.
But yeah, it's just, it ignites this natural sense of compassion. And what I realized in my own reflection was, it wasn't that I wanted anything specific. My inner child didn't want anything specific, other than just to spend time with her. And
I can relate.
As well as just to be an advocate. Someone to stand up for my best interests, to stand up for me. And that's something that I'm learning I can apply to life now by setting boundaries. That's another way of protecting that inner child.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many directions you can go with meditations or practices with taking your inner child into consideration and becoming aware of how that can help you grow.
Absolutely. And so I'm, pretty late in life learning this lesson. So it's never too late. And let me tell you, the value of just understanding that my inner child is in there has immensely translated to my business acumen. I can be more present because I'm not ignoring a piece of me that's vying for my attention because I'm covering it up with work. I am very, very guilty of running away from my life by overworking. And so, just as a drug addiction can form, a work addiction can form. If you're not showing up for yourself, if you can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror, why are you doing this in the first place? It's like, me personally, I seek harmony, with who I am and how I exist in this world. And so it's kind of like bringing two circles together. If you ever had, like, I guess, a poi or weighted things and you kind of bring things to overlaps, it's like if you get it out of time or sync, they'll mess with each other and then you'll mess it up.
You'll lose that flow.
Yeah, you'll lose the flow, exactly. Yeah. And so I feel like it's me just balancing my present self with my past self, and when that aligns, a vision of my future self is there. Right? It's like it becomes more clear, it becomes more effortless to bring forth that future self.
Right. I'm excited to see your future self. It's nice to meet you, future self, from back then.
Yeah,
you know?
right. I mean, I guess you've known me through the years, and you've seen the evolution within me. Just I've seen the evolution within you. So, you're looking at the past version, future self, which is the present me. And so, it's just been a joy to journey and grow with you and watch you develop professionally and develop personally.
Yeah. Definitely. And I couldn't have done any of that without you.
Oh,
so
well,
you've been a pivotal part of my journey and the establishment and the growing of my character, my integrity, the things that I value the most in life, behind the scenes, because, and whether it's this business or any other business, that's something that's so important to us, is to be able to bring our integrity and character into what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Because without that sense of purpose, without that, it's nothing, right? It's just, I'm clocking in, I'm clocking out. There's no value there.
Yeah.
And after having my epiphany, which I've talked about on here before, that we are the value that we bring, and being willing to just show up and be open, like you were talking about earlier, that's half the battle right there.
Yeah.
So, high five for all of the growth that you have made along the way. And, it's just exciting to see where we are now, and we'll look back at this and have those conversations again and see where we are.
Yeah, at the next checkpoint. So I do want to, before we finish this and wrap this up, I do want to highlight something for the business and the business people out there, the entrepreneurs, is I am only as great as the people around me. Make sure you have the correct people around you that support your success. And if there is anyone around you that doubts you, you don't need to be spending time with them. And it may be hurtful, but it may be your family members. When you grow and begin to level up, one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is that you will outgrow people, and you may love them dearly, but if they do not support you in your success, you have to kind of distance yourself from them, because it's hard for them to divorce who you are becoming from who they have known. And you may be becoming someone that's unfamiliar to them, and it's okay. You're on your journey. They're on their journey. You have to know your purpose and align yourself with that purpose and say, it's going to take me away from some people in my life. However, it's going to bring the people that I'm aligned with closer in my life. And it's going to bring people around me that will foster my success, that will see my struggle and assist me in the things that I'm doing. And so you have to be open to letting those people in and letting go of the old. And it's like, I've struggled with that. I love my people. I love them. But some of them are not focused on success. And, I just look at their habits, and this is no dig to anyone. It's like, are your habits gearing you up for success? And if the answer is yes, great, then you will meet it. And if the answer is no, great, then, I kind of got to separate myself for a time being. And so what it looks like for me is I tell people all the time, it's like, all right, I'm going to be doing me for a couple months. This is no love lost. I got to focus on myself. And that's exactly what I do. I focus on myself, and then I reappear and I show back up. The evolution takes place within me and away from their eyes. And then when I come back, they can see the changes and the difference in me. And that way I don't have to deal with their objections to me changing.
That makes a lot of sense, because you do get those objections and those moments, and they're not fun. And it's, I've had numerous situations where we've had to walk away from people or distance ourselves, and it's never fun, and it always hurts.
It hurts
us. It's just something about it, but you have to do what you're meant to do. We've got, for me, it's for my kids, for my family, and for myself. I was put on this earth to thrive, to see what I can become and who I will become, and to teach my kids that they can be whoever they want to become. So it's just not worth the risk of losing the potential of what I can be and what I can represent to my children by letting anybody or anything get in my way. And it's not personal. It's not meant to be, and I'll always love the people dearly. Like there will always, anybody that I've met in my life, I'll always have a spot for. But there's only so many hours in a day, and my kids take most of those. And then from there, it's just building and growing and being really selective, like you're saying, with who you surround yourself with. And because I think, the more people that do that, the more we level up, and then together we collaborate and make even bigger things happen.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm excited for in this chapter of our lives, is we're really stepping into that space where, we've helped a lot of people already in our journeys, and but the sky's the limit, right?
It really is. It really is. And so, I'm going to bring back a lesson in this, saying this is like, right now, a lot of my motivation is my curiosity. And I am curious to see what I can become if I harmonize and align myself with my highest goals, and then put forth, as much effort as I possibly can. Because to be honest with you, the audience, and myself, is like, I've kind of only half-assed some things, and I've gotten decent results, but it didn't last. And I just have to be honest. And so now I'm like, I only have this one life. I have this one time. I have this opportunity. What can I do? I don't know. I have an idea.
To the curiosity.
Yeah. And so I'm just curious to see what I can do. But a lot of this curiosity has me facing my fears. So we're in the middle of one of those fears. And this is where it's very difficult for me to speak publicly towards an audience at which I don't know who's going to view this, right? And so there's been a lot of anxiety and trepidation from me ever doing this. But my wonderful friend here has built a platform, and my desire to help her grow and to help her become the best version of herself is greater than my fear of speaking to people or speaking to an audience that I cannot see. And so I want to thank you for being on your journey and being on your path and elevating yourself, which in turn elevates me to get over the small things that trip me up. So thank you, friend.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And it's, of course, always so good to see you. And
agreed. So good to see you too.
Yes. We're going to do this again very soon. And I'm excited now that we've pushed you off the ledge for this one. I hope that many more will come. And because this world really does need your wisdom out there. And
thanks.
I know firsthand that it will make an impact and it will make a difference.
I appreciate that.
And it would be a waste for you not to.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Pew pew. Oh, well, yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I guess this is my closing words to the audience. This is a hard task, and it's not for the faint of heart. It will strip you bare and show you exactly what you're made of. But if you have enough fortitude and strength, you will transform yourself into the thing that you want to be and the thing that the world needs. The world needs more people that are willing to stand up and help each other. And so the biggest help that you could do to yourself is to love yourself, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, understand yourself, be your own best friend. And let me reiterate one more time, love yourself, because all of this growth cannot take place with a battered, tattered version of you. It has to be your highest version. And we all function at the highest level when we are loved. And the person that can offer us that love is within ourselves.
Bingo. As per usual. Well, those are our closing words.
Yes.
So thank you guys for real. If you liked this video, if you can help me get this guy to share his wisdom, please like and subscribe this video. This world needs more of him. So thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.